Hey everyone, and welcome. When it comes to Canadian immigration, things are always on the move. So today, we're going to cut through all the noise and break down the biggest updates you absolutely need to know about right now. Let's jump right in.
All the information we're covering today comes straight from the JSR Immigration Daily News Digest, which is brought to you by JSR Legals and Immigration, led by paralegal RCIC, notary public, and former mechanical engineer from the University of Windsor, Jugraj Singh Randhawa, your trusted authority on Canadian immigration. Let's see what they're reporting. All right, we've got three major stories on our plate today. First up, we're looking at a huge shift in express entry that is fantastic news for educators. Then we'll dive into why the provinces are asking for more newcomers. And finally, we'll get practical and talk about the latest application processing times. You'll want to stick around, because at the end, we'll wrap it all up with the key things you need to remember. So let's kick things off with a major development in the express entry system. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, just made a move that really signals a massive opportunity for anyone working in the education field.
Okay, so on September 17th, IRCC sent out 2,500 invitations to apply for permanent residency. But here's the kicker. Every single one of those invitations went to candidates in education-related jobs. That's right, 100%.
The magic number for this draw was a comprehensive ranking system, or CRS, score of 462. Now, for anyone who tracks these trends, you know that a score that low, well, that's a really big deal. It represents a major drop.
In fact, it's a 17-point drop from the last time they did a draw for this specific category. A decrease like that is substantial. It means the bar was just lowered, making it a whole lot easier for skilled educators to get that coveted invitation to apply.
So just to put that into perspective for you, the score fell from 479 all the way down to 462. The takeaway here is crystal clear. IRCC is sending a very strong signal that it's prioritizing people with education experience. This is a prime moment for them to get their applications in.
Now, it's not just the federal government making these targeted moves. The provinces themselves are making a lot of noise, advocating for more newcomers to fill some really crucial gaps in their economies. And that's our second big story. In response, IRCC has bumped up the 2025 allocations for the Provincial Nominee Programs, or PNPs. You can see here, Ontario's allocation is now 10,750, British Columbia's is at 4,000, and Manitoba's is 4,750. But, there's a much bigger story behind these numbers.
See, provinces like Ontario, BC, and Manitoba are still pushing back against some earlier federal cuts. They're arguing they need even more spots. And they're looking at recent increases for Alberta and Saskatchewan as a kind of precedent, which is inspiring them to fight for even more. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a direct response to very real labor shortages all across the country.
And that brings us to our final and very important update, processing times. If you have an application in the system, or you're even thinking about submitting one, this is something you're definitely going to want to pay attention to.
The most dramatic change we're seeing is for people renouncing their Canadian citizenship. The estimated processing time has literally doubled, jumping from 5 months all the way up to 10. This really points to some significant backlogs in that specific pathway.
The other updates are a little less severe, thankfully. The wait for a citizenship grant is up slightly by just 1 month to a total of 11 months, and getting a citizenship certificate or proof of citizenship is holding steady at 5 months.
Now, it is so crucial to remember what these times actually are. They are IRC's best guess for how long it'll take to process an application under normal circumstances. So they're really helpful for planning, for sure, but they are not a guarantee.
And with all these delays, IRCC is really emphasizing accuracy. Even a single mistake or a missing document can cause huge setbacks. To put it simply, right now, getting your application perfect the first time is more critical than it has ever been.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, from express entry draws to provincial demands, and of course, those processing times. So let's take a breath and boil it all down into 3 clear takeaways for you.
First, if you're an educator, the door is wide open right now. With CRS scores dropping in your category, your chances of getting an invitation have seriously improved. Second, keep a close eye on the provinces. They're actively fighting for more skilled workers through their nominee programs, and that's creating brand new pathways to residency. And third, with processing times under so much pressure, accuracy in your application isn't just important, it is absolutely critical if you want to avoid getting stuck in even longer delays.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought to consider. As we watch Canada make these very targeted draws for educators and as they respond to specific provincial labor demands, it does raise a bigger question. In fine-tuning its immigration strategy, is the country now prioritizing specific, immediate economic needs over the overall speed and efficiency of the system? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.